Comic Boom.
Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review Supergirl issue 32. Well, fortunately, this is an issue that's much better than Superman issue 13. Superman issue 13, really not much happened there. We didn't, no real significant revelation there other than just confirming that the Circle did know about Krypton's destruction and there was some deception and some conspiracy that went on involving Krypton's destruction, which we've known for over a year. So once again, we're a full year into the Rogol Zaar storyline and know as much as we knew from issue 1 of Man of Steel. And that's what's really sad about this whole thing. So Bendis, man, start speeding things up, man. You're really betraying the readership. We deserve better than this. You got a lot of interesting questions, Bendis, but you need to convey the questions more. Now, one of the other victims of Bendis is Mark Andreyko. But the great thing about Mark Andreyko is that he actually knows how to write better, and he's really better at dialogue. Thank God. Mark Andreyko is substantially better at dialogue than Bendis. And from the beginning, Supergirl has been a more exciting comic book, consistently anyway, than Superman or Action Comics has been. Mark Andreyko's done a really good job here. Now, it's not Mark Andreyko's fault, to the extent that there are some faults with Supergirl. It's not Mark Andreyko's fault, because as a writer, he's really good. Now, what happened 2 weeks ago, Supergirl meets up with Superman and Superboy, and they confront Rogol Zaar and General Zod and Jezzer and the other Kryptonians, and basically that ended with Supergirl taking Superboy with her to go after Gandello, who is a member of the Circle, again, the Circle that conspired with Rogol Zaar to ultimately destroy Krypton. Now, Supergirl and Superboy confront Gandello, but so does Rogol Zaar. And because Rogol Zaar is following Supergirl, and because Rogol Zaar wants his axe back. Now, one of the most exciting things that Mark Andreyko has done is that Mark Andreyko knew. Obviously, now it's become quite clear, as I predicted, and I wasn't the only one, because this ain't rocket science, it's Bendis. I wasn't the only one to predict that this was going to be potentially a longer storyline. I actually joked it was going to be a 3-year storyline, and I think it might end up being a 3-year storyline. God. Am I allowed to laugh if it's true? I thought it was a joke, but it's true. Anyways, so this thing has dragged out a long time, and at least on Mark Andreyko, knowing that this storyline was going to take so long, at least he's added more stuff to it. He's added great character moments, and he's added a great supporting cast with Zindel Cole, with Krypto, and just great dialogue, and really developing Supergirl Kara herself, particularly focusing on Kara's anger, how Kara's anger really is channeled through Rogol Zaar's axe. And one of the things over the many issues of Supergirl that's been building, and I've been saying my excitement for this over the last 10 issues, is, are we ultimately going to get a battle between Rogol Zaar and Supergirl fighting over ownership of that axe? Because the axe does seem to be linked to a person's anger. And in last issues of Supergirl appeared to win the axe from Rogol Zaar. The axe seemed to be attracted to Supergirl, and the axe seemed to go to her instead of Rogol Zaar, which suggested to me that, is it possible that Supergirl has more residual has more built up anger in her than Rogol Zaar himself? Wow, that's incredible, because that appeared to be the case. Now, what's interesting here is, in this issue, they battle over the axe. And in doing so, well, Rogol Zaar doesn't have a lot of patience for Gandello. And Gandello insults Rogol Zaar, and Gandello says something that I don't believe we actually knew. So we suspected, but I believe it's confirmed here, that Rogol Zaar does come from a race that was destroyed as well. Rogol Zaar's planet was also destroyed. So we can infer that Rogol Zaar might have something in common with the Superman family. Rogol Zaar himself might be the sole survivor of a planet, and there might be other members of Rogol Zaar's race other than Rogol Zaar himself. Now, again, I don't want to suggest that that's necessarily a secret. I think that was implied over the last year, we could sort of put the pieces together. But I think could we be headed to a situation where there might actually be some, is it really Rogol Zaar's fault? Is there another master manipulator at play? Or is Rogol Zaar just playing the enemy? Rogol Zaar, while he seems intelligent and very powerful, so far he's been portrayed like a fairly one-dimensional villain. He's not particularly bright. He's not concrete. He doesn't appear to be able to think in the abstract. He's very a black and white type of character, and he likes to attack first and do something later. So if Bendis has the intention of portraying Rogol Zaar as a complex character, he's failed miserably so far. So I'll give Bendis the benefit of the doubt and say that Bendis obviously doesn't intend Rogol Zaar to be a particularly complex character, because so far Rogol Zaar isn't. Rogol Zaar was just concerned about getting his axe back. I mean, it's sort of like the redneck who loses his dog and he gets all and freaks out and goes, and he freaks out. It's sort of like a one-dimensional John Wick. It's like, you killed my dog, so I'm going to, wipe out your entire mob family. Really? It's just a dog. It's not just a dog. That dog belonged to John Wick. I love that movie. In any event, this comic book was a lot of fun. The art was fantastic. Mark McGuire's art here was Kevin McGuire's art. Echo Placencia on the colors, Tom Napolitano on the letters, and Kevin McGuire and Chris Sotomayor on the cover. There's even humor in here. Mark Andreyko has this animal. I mean, basically, this is the first time I've ever seen Supergirl and Superboy experience a sperm attack. There's this animal that seems to shoot sperm all over them. And Superboy even says, oh, look, they look like a bunch of... And then she says, get your mind out of the gutter. He goes, my mind? What did you think I was going to say? Anyways, it was good. Yeah. So, yeah, how many comic books this month could you say there was a sperm attack in? Probably very few. Maybe I should be doing this review on Pornhub. I don't know. But really, other than that, a lot of action here. Man, I tell you what, fantastic action. Rogol Zaar is just drawn. I've never seen Rogol Zaar is drawn just so cruel and mean here. What he does to Gandello, I mean, he makes quick work of Gandello. Just completely rips her a new one. I mean, I can't imagine she survived. I don't know much. We know nothing about Gandello's race, but I'm assuming she was killed. I don't know how she could have survived that. But then I thought Supergirl might have killed her. She was burned. She was melted. I thought her wings were shattered. So I don't even know. Is it possible for Gandello to even die? I don't know. I mean, she's basically made of glass. So can you melt the glass again and create a mold and resurrect Gandello? We don't know. So I don't know if Gandello's actually dead. I would be surprised if Gandello was, quite frankly. But it's and the other thing is, I'm not really clear why Rogol Zaar would kill Gandello. Gandello actually calls Rogol Zaar a monster, and I'm not really sure why Gandello would do that. Rogol Zaar says to Empress Gandello, "It seems your hands are bloodier than mine." Gandello, she says that just as with the erasure of Zaar's mongrel race, I apologize for the extinction of neither. So it's implied that Gandello did have a role in the extinction of Rogol Zaar's mongrel race. And if that's the case, one has to wonder, what would Rogol Zaar's planet have in common with Krypton? And if it was Rogol Zaar's planet that was destroyed by some conspiracy of which Gandello and the Circle were part of, are there other planets other than Krypton and Rogol Zaar's planet that have also been destroyed over the centuries because of the machinations of Gandello and other members of the Circle like Ali Absa? Now, we know at least that with Ali Absa, that member of the Circle, that he was at least trying to achieve some measure of redemption, and that's why he sent Supergirl in the previous issues on a quest to find his various crystals, with his confession contained in all of them once they were united. And so all of this it's interesting. So compliments to Mark and Draco that even though in a sense we kind of went on a glorified, I guess, treasure hunt for a while there, at least it's been fun. It's been an enjoyable ride with great art. But again, it's because he's Mark and Draco. It would be nice to see once he gets out of this Bendis storyline where he can take Supergirl on her own adventures, because I got to give Mark and Draco again full credit, because for him basically being forced to, he can't move the storyline more than he can, because you know that Bendis won't let him. So he's forced to only have one revelation here, one revelation there, and it's been a full year of Supergirl. It's been a fun year. It's been a lot more fun than in Superman, but you know, again, it is what it is. I'm enjoying Supergirl. Now, the offer that's made on the end, and again, a criticism of DC because it's not an offer. We don't know exactly what the offer is. It seems again, DC doesn't understand. It doesn't seem to have the intelligence to appreciate that an offer is actually when you actually make someone an offer. We don't know what the offer is. We just know that Lex Luthor approaches another form of Brainiac. And we don't know what the offer is. We don't know what the offer is. So when it's not really much of an offer, and it's false advertising when there's only one page dedicated to an offer. I don't care about Brainiac. Who cares about who cares about an old looking Brainiac who apparently is, you know, Lex Luthor wants to offer him something so that this early version of Brainiac can reach his full potential, because he's apparently he's one of Brainiac's minions. He's one of Brainiac's scavengers, searching the galaxy for the knowledge that Brainiac had lost, and now Luthor wants to make an offer to this thing. I don't know why. I mean, it's interesting, I guess. That might even be Mark and Draco's idea. And so maybe Supergirl then will have her own version of Brainiac to fight. So that's kind of cool. I trust Mark and Draco. He's earned my trust, because he has taken a storyline that has genuinely been going nowhere, and he's made it exciting by sort of putting in different ideas, in particular with respect to Rogol Zaar's axe and the battle over that. Rogol Zaar ends up with his axe at the end of this issue, and you got to pick up this issue to see how. But it's very interesting. It's enjoyable. And I don't mind Superboy here. Superboy and Supergirl seem to get along. They seem to have some rapport. I still think it was a huge mistake to age up Superboy, because Superboy is not needed here. He really isn't. It's a mistake. It's become increasingly clear that he was only aged up to put him in the Legion of Superheroes, but even that is completely unnecessary. You don't need to age up Superboy. For an older you don't need to age up a 10-year-old Superboy to have a 17-year-old Superboy in the Legion of Superheroes. The Legion of Superheroes takes place in the future. So you can have a 17-year-old Superboy in the future being a member of the Legion of Superheroes and still have a young Jonathan Kent in the comic books. You can have both. One's in the future, one isn't. So what's the big deal? In fact, it would be better to have a younger Jonathan Kent and a 17-year-old Superboy in the Legion of Superheroes, because you'd have more options, you'd have more storytelling possibilities. But again, DC never thought of that, because obviously they bow down to the god of Bendis. But it is what it is. Guys, tell me what you think of Supergirl issue 32. Hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. Find some time to go outside and enjoy the sun. Enjoy your family. You know, you don't always have to review comic books. And until next time, Comic Boom out.